Hi, I'm Julie. Welcome to the Back to the Mat Challenge. Thanks for joining me. Today we're going to work on lizard pose, one of my favorites. It's a hip opener. So we're going to start with a couple of props. I really recommend them because it's really going to help you explore the pose better. So I like to have a blanket under my knees and blocks for giving me some height. So we're going to come into a tabletop position. And I'm going to grab my blocks. I'm going to bring my right foot forward. My knee is over my heel. My left knee is extended, and my toes are curled. As we get into this, I'm cognizant that this might be the first pose that you're doing today. So to start opening it up, I like to rock a little bit back and forth. One of the things that's super important is that being in the poses themselves is not normally where people get hurt. It is that gap in between. So being mindful not to hurt yourself. So coming on in, again, knee is over ankle. Taking your blocks, I like to start with them on the highest setting. And I'm going to walk my toes out to the side of the mat. My foot is angled at about 45 degrees. And as I get into the pose, I'm going to lower my blocks and get down on my forearms. You may want to clasp your hands here or hold your hands separately. If you can get lower, that's great. But the concept here is to keep your back elongated and to not just dump into your arms, but to really still be putting some height into your body. So as I get a little deeper in, and we're going to breathe here, pull the right hip crease back just a little bit, and that should give you a little bit more room to get deeper into your pose. If you're feeling that you can use a little bit more, you can take the blocks out, or you might be able to just roll your foot out a little bit so that you're a little bit on the side of your foot. And breathing. And as you're ready to come out of it, being mindful if your foot was rolled to bring it back, walk yourself up on your blocks. What I like to do is walk my foot back in and put the block on the outside, and then again rocking back mindfully, noting that my hip is still pretty much over that standing knee. And I'll bring my blocks back a little bit. I will flex my foot. Got a little bit of a runner stretch there, a little bit of ease. Now we have to do the other side. So I come back in here. And what I like to do is move my blocks off because I'm going to go through downward dog to get there. Making sure that those back toes are engaged, lifting your knee up, and sending your foot back to downward dog. You may want to take a moment here and breathe, find some length and some ease. Now let's take it to the other side. So bringing your knees back down to the blanket. Again, the blanket's there to protect your knee because you're kind of rolling over it. I'm extending my left leg forward this time. I've got my blocks to help with this. My back toe is engaged. My belly is engaged. And I'm going to rock in and out a little bit, just easing in because you're going to find that your two sides at this point are going to feel a little bit different. So as I'm ready to come back in, I have a nice angle. My back is straight. I'm going to bring both blocks in. I'm going to walk my foot out. My front foot is at 45 degrees, protecting my ankle and my knee. And coming down to my forearms. And on the blocks, you may decide that this side is really super flexible and you can come right down to the ground. But again, part of the goal of this is not to just dump into your shoulders, but really to extend and have some length, pulling that left hip crease back a little bit so that I can get just that little millimeter more down into the hip crease and get a nice stretch. And breathe. As you're ready to come on out of it, walk your way back up. Move the block to the outside of your left foot. Rocking in and out a little bit, gently. Want to be very conscious of the fact that you're coming out of the pose, a counter stretch. Extending that leg, bringing your blocks in so that you still have some height. My hip is still above my knee. I'm not collapsing into that either. Stretching out that front leg. As I'm ready, coming forward, moving the blocks out of the way. Lifting the back leg and coming into the dog again. Your legs should feel a little bit more at ease, a little stretched out. Thank you so much for joining me on my mat today. Hope to see you soon. Namaste.